worried about. And now we get to this stage of life. Most of us still feeling financially strong, but now we're trying to plan for this retirement journey of 20, 30, 40 years. And now we have to come back to that stage one again and be a little more intentional about, well, how much can I afford to spend? You know, what kind of lifestyle are you looking for, so that you're going to feel more confident as you get into that retirement stage of life that you're not going to run out of money before you do run out of time.
Which can be challenging for a lot of people because maybe they haven't had to figure out what their budget was for the last 10 to 15 years, and retirement is a whole new thing. But that's okay, because we've come up with a really simple process to help people identify what it is that you're going to need to spend in retirement. The easiest way to figure out what you're going to need in retirement is to look back to figure out what your lifestyle has cost you. And technology today has made this process much, much easier. So think about all the different ways that you spend money. Do you spend money on your credit cards? Most people do, and then pay it off each month. Do you spend money maybe occasionally writing a check or through a debit card? So look at the different ways you spend money and then run a report through the credit card company or your bank and add up all the expenses that you've had over the last 12-month period of time. So here's a prime example. Maybe you have some electricity costs, some water costs. Maybe there's a one-time bigger expense like replacing a roof, subscriptions, mortgage, groceries, and then other would be anything else that's not on this list, because this obviously is not all encompassing, plus the fun stuff, the discretionary spend where you're traveling and all the stuff that you're going to do for fun. It also costs money. So one thing you might want to look at as you're looking at all of your different expenditures over the last 12 months is some of these one-time big expenses, like replacing your roof. If you've replaced your roof maybe 2 years ago, the chances are you're not going to have to pay to replace your roof 5 or even 10 years down the road. So you can eliminate that from this exercise and then add up all of the other expenses. And if we were to do that with this list, we add up all the other expenses besides replacing your roof, that is going to come to a total of $72,000. Now, you can use that annual number, or if you divide that by 12, that's going to end up to be about $6,000 a month. So that is what it's cost you over the last 12 months to live. And then that's a baseline number that you can use to try to identify, here's what it might cost you for a year in retirement.
When you do this exercise, right, with the families and individuals you work with, how does this usually go? Are they surprised? Are they spending more than they think, less than they think? I'm just really curious.
There's two different ways that we go. Typically when it gets to that point of trying to identify what they have, some people are on top of it and they know. Others, we ask that question and they look like a deer in the headlights, lost. So then we try to really kind of back into it. While we're working, we know how much money's coming in from your paychecks. If you're not spending all of that, well, then we know their total expenses for their lifestyle is something less than that. So it does take a little work. I mean, it really just comes down to having visibility to our cash flow. So again, it's that swear word, that budgeting. So it's having that visibility, knowing where money's coming in from, where it's going, that helps us develop those plans.
And using that tool can be easy and give us a general idea, but the other thing to consider is in retirement, you have a lot more free time. So the last 12 months of expenses included probably working full time, where in retirement, you're probably not going to work full time. You have more free time. That could cost a little bit of money as well. So you do that exercise and maybe you can inflate that by 10, 15% to maybe even give you a more accurate number.
And when we talk about this as being an exercise to help you overcome a fear of running out of money, when people see that number, does that help with this, or how is that connection made?
Well, that's one step. The next step is to put that into the overall retirement plan. So let's say it's $72,000 a year that you need to spend to have the lifestyle that you want. Now we look at all the different income sources that can deliver that and look at the probability of you being able to sustain that lifestyle, including factors like taxation and inflation and maybe long-term care, some of these other expenses that could be really big down the road. Look at all of that, and that's going to be a part of that equation build as we go.
It does help us provide a lot of information, so it is an important part of the plan. Just like there's a handful of other assumptions that we work with on a daily basis that all impact what that plan looks like. And then as we show them that part of the plan, hey, here's what your long-term cash flow looks like at a certain age, at age 80, at age 90, at 100. period. That's where we see lots of differences. Some people might say, hey, I'm supposed to run out of cash at 90. Not worried whatsoever.
Sure.
Whereas the next couple might say, hey, that is very concerning. Or their budget is set to be $6,000 a month and their plan shows that they could comfortably spend $10,000 a month. That is extremely valuable. We talk about limiting that fear and getting rid of that fear. This is a big part and it does provide a lot of information so that we can continue to make good decisions along the way.
And I'm glad you mentioned the overall plan because I know that's what you help people put together all the time. But those of you who are watching are probably saying, well, what is a plan? What does it look like? And a really great way to get a really concrete idea of what a comprehensive retirement plan is our online Journey to Retirement workshop.
Because in this workshop, what we do is we take a hypothetical couple, John and Sue, and they want to retire in 3 short years. They're 62, want to retire at 65. They have some very specific goals that they want to accomplish in retirement. We outline what those goals are, and then we go through the 6 pillars of the plan that they put together to make sure that they can accomplish those goals, like saving money on their retirement tax bill. And we show specific strategies in this online Journey to Retirement workshop where John and Sue knock over 6 figures off of their retirement tax bill. And what that means is they can take that money and apply it to their lifestyle spend to enjoy retirement that much more.
6 figures off your tax bill. I'm sure your ears perked up at that one. Well, here's what you need to know. There's a website where you can go sign up for that online Journey to Retirement workshop. It's merkleretire.com. You can go to that website now, sign up for the online Journey to Retirement workshop at a time and a date that works for you and learn all about a comprehensive retirement plan.